That pretty well sums it up. 4.5 inches of rain since Thursday. Definitely got everything soaked down here in Clark County. The rock is completely submerged. Means the water is going out the spillway. It was completely droughted. Hadn't went out the spillway for over a year, almost 2. Like I say, it's never been this high in 2 years to where it reached this spillway. Last year was a severe drought, and it's not actually running over the spillway yet, but it's as full as it can get, and that's as full as that pond's been in 2 years. So that's something. I tell you, the rock back there by the trees, usually that's about the same height as the spillway, and it's submerged. And I tell you, right here is the spillway, so it's ready to start flowing through there if it had any more rain. It looks like we got a little rubbing activity going on right here. Yeah, that's a fresh little rub. Yeah. Oh well, won't be long. Yeah, as we venture down through here, this is Monday the 8th of October, and after this intense rain, the scent and everything that was in blinds, or not in blinds, but in scrapes and on rubs, will definitely have to be renewed. And we're supposed to get a little cooler weather. And when that comes in, with this much moisture, there ought to be new scrapes and rubs opening up all throughout this southern Iowa. And basically, wherever it's going to cool off at. Wasn't a whole lot of activity going on prior to this, but this has cleansed the woods of all natural scents of the deer, and they're going to be out with vengeance, refreshing their scrapes and marking out their territories, because this 4.5 inch washed about anything nature or man could put out. Let's venture down here to this creek. As you can see, this scrape has standing water in it. So that's what I mean. The bucks will have to be out refreshing them, because any scent that they've left on these tree limbs or in that dirt is going to be pretty much well leached away. And as you can see, this creek finally found its legs, and it's running. It's running pretty good too. There goes the buck. There he goes. I don't know if I got that on video, but he must have been laying right over in here. Took me by total surprise. And then there, and he ran down through the creek and up through the Missouri crossing. Oh yeah, he wasn't the only thing running. So was the creek. Yeah, you've seen that creek several times. Well, I guess I won't be crossing that today with my boots that I got on. But, yeah, he went right down through there. Yeah. There's what helped cut that bank in there. Yep, like I say, the creek finally found its running legs, and it's running pretty good with 4.5 inches of rain. October 8th, 2018. Tell you what, it's not a real comfortable day out right now. The humidity's got to be 100%, and the temperature's got to be close to 80. So it's getting real tropical. And I came down here to put up some blinds, and I just wanted to take a little walkabout. so I better get on to what I was doing. Yeah, I was down there last Tuesday putting up this tree stand in a new location. And in doing so, when I tried to push the bottom rung, it's a ladder stand, I couldn't get the bottom rung completely pushed into the dirt because the ground was still too hard. But here was my efforts today. As you see, with that 4.5 inches of rain, it made that ground soft enough that I can push that rung, that bottom rung, right down to the dirt. So now that's resting on the ground level. So you got that big of a footprint. And now the stand is 100% silent as I climb up it. And another thing, what I did is I just cut this new oak leaf, be a red oak, and the reason I can tell it's a red oak is because how pointed the leaf is. Or if it'd be a white oak, it would be more rounded. But these red oaks will, if you cut them when they're green, they will stay on all year because they won't shed. They'll just dry down. And the reason I wanted to do that, I hung one up there, and you can see the results of it. But this is rather open, so being I had the opportunity, and it's going to rain again this afternoon and tonight, I want to get up here and hang this one up. Just, you don't have to have coverage in front of you. The coverage behind you is far more important than the coverage in front of you. If you got the right camo on and you're stationary, your silhouette's not going to stick out as long as you got something behind you. So that's what we're going to do. And here's before we put it up, and then I'll take a picture after we get it up. Oh yeah, by the way, when you do that, you want to leave a limb coming off the main branch. This will be what I hooked that up there with. And that makes it really simple. You just hook it up there and it'll stay there all year. Well, we got that limb hung up there. And now, as you can see, you have that backdrop. I hung up 2 limbs. And it makes you feel so much more secure because your human silhouette just disappears. Whereas if you're sitting up there without that backdrop, you just feel vulnerable. This way, any deer that I want to let by, if I just stand there or sit there, they're not even, shouldn't even be giving you any notice. And this is one person. I'll go to my grave before I hunt out of a fiberglass hut on stilts for any wild game animal, because you learn absolutely nothing from doing that. If I go to the deep woods of Canada and I want to hunt moose from a tree, I'm going to do the same thing that I did here. If I'm going to hunt bear, I'm going to do the same thing. So I build confidence with what nature gives me to build a blind. Now, where are you going to be if you've acclimated yourself that you've got to have a green field and a fiberglass kaibo, per se, to sit in? You're going to be up a creek, or you're going to be one strong bastard if you can pack that in, back in 9-10 miles, and then erect it and go unnoticed. This is what is going wrong with the hunting world, in my opinion. And, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down. But if you don't have any woodsmanship skills and you don't believe in yourself, and you've got to put more crutches into your attempt to take the mere white-tailed deer, which are abundant in most areas, you're not learning much about how to be a hunter when you get out of your element. I can go out to Colorado, I can find a elk wallow, whatever. I can hunt them out of a tree. If I find a tree close enough, I'll climb up in it. And I'll make do with what it is. I'll carry a small tree stand with me. But for you guys that are acclimating that you can only hunt out of a fiberglass blind on a green field, well, you're going to fail badly when you really get in the real hunting world outside that white-tailed deer back 40. And the other thing about those fiberglass huts, as I call them, kaibos on stilts, you can't hunt fresh slime. All you're doing is hunting the same spot year after year. And you don't get the pleasure of going down and setting up on a new scrape or a hot rub or something of that nature, because you're not going to move that thing in. It's too intrusive. This way you can be more stealth. Now I am going to set some ground blinds up for the simple fact I have a lot of turkey here, and if I want to come down here early in the morning or something and hunt the turkey, you know, that's almost a must. I mean, you don't have to, but I'll take that as a crutch, because it's pretty hard to get the draw on a turkey. But I'm trying to emphasize is you really shrink your hunting opportunities down when you rely solely on a fiberglass blind on a green field, because basically all you're doing is selective shooting. You don't get any scouting, doesn't mean nothing. You don't have any, you know, you're not going to move that. All you're going to do is hope that the deer comes by in shooting light. But when you have portable blind or stands, and blinds for that matter, that you can move around on the ground, at least you're more mobile, and you can stay on the freshest and the sign either the deer are making or the turkey are making. Whereas when you're in a stationary blind, that's your setup. I'm not even going to call it a hunt. It got really warm. We got our blind set up. This is what we called it, the YouTube blind. We put it up here in 2015. Now I want you to notice those shrubs. Those are those Christmas trees that we picked up off the curb on cleanup day. And you notice they're still just as resilient as the day we brought them out here. But I also want to show you something. This is unbelievably wet. You've seen me when I was up here. Now, look at the mud. Look at how wet 4.5 inches of rain. This ground is totally saturated. And it looks like we're about ready to get more rain. It's coming in from the southwest, so I better pack up and get out of here. Well, here it is, October 9th. Yesterday we was down here at this rain gauge. We had 4.5 inches. Let's look at it today. There it is. 2 inches of rain since yesterday afternoon. With the 4.5 that was in there prior, and this too at 6.5 inches. I'll walk over to this other rain gauge. Starting to change color down here, but that rain is really gonna knock the heck out of that foliage. Those bright yellow leaves that you're seeing are hickory, and they don't last long in that yellow stage. Then they turn that ugly looking brown. Well, let's see what this rain gauge. There you go. There you go. Full 6 inches of rain, and with the 4.5, actually it probably ran over the top because it wouldn't stay in there. But there's 6 inches of rain since Friday, and this is Tuesday, so we had started raining Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, basically 4 days. Saturday, Sunday, yeah, 4 days of rain, 6 inches. Beautiful down here. I'll show you another thing while I'm down here. Those hedge apples definitely dropped with all that wind. We had strong winds, tornado warnings and everything down there last night. And the ground is completely littered now. There's not I don't think there's a hedge ball up there left on that tree. It's good deer food right there. There's one of our projects that we did get squeezed in yesterday, just before the big deluge. Got that blind put up there, and a lot of deer traverse through here. And that's what I said about tower blinds. That's why I don't like them, because when you put them one spot, they're there. This was spontaneous. You throw it up, don't take too long, brushed it in. And so many people talk about deodorizing it. Well, if you do it right, and you do it right in front of a rainstorm, it'll get its own deodorized. So hopefully little Donnie will be able to sit in there with his mom or maybe grandma and get to see some deer up close and personal. Here's a pile of my vines. Now those didn't cost nothing, but as soon as the creek gets down enough, I'm going to put another blind up, and I'll put those Christmas trees or artificial Christmas trees around it, and that'll help brush it in. It'll look just like a cedar tree. Just a magnificent, like I said, you're not going to get this color here for very long now. I guarantee you the buck deer will be running scrape lines here in the next few days, hot and heavy, because they've got to get them opened up. Now, this has been completely cleansed, and guess what? We still got more rain in store for later today. Well, you can see how high the creek been up over there on that shoreline, and it went back down considerably, and it's like 10 o'clock this morning, on Tuesday morning on the 9th. But it been coming through there pretty good, as you can see way up on the hill there. Here we are at the Missouri crossing, and all this new sand and stuff has been washed in here. And you can see the debris field there. Oh, it's washed up on that bank. And over on that side, it was up that trail quite a ways. Well, here we are up on the porch now. It's October 9th, and it's raining again. So we've had 6.5 inches, as you've seen in the rain gauges there this morning. I was attempting to hang some stands, spruced up some blinds, and critiqued some stands. And it's raining again, as you can see here. That's the view from my front porch. And it's just a beautiful setting right now, but we could have used this rain earlier instead of in the month of October, but that's beside the point. You get it when you get it, and be glad that we got it. After this rain event gets through, it's going to be around 11th, 12th, 13th of October. And you were with me last year on October 13th, Friday the 13th, when I hung a stand. And on Thanksgiving Day, I had a buck come into that stand that would have been shootable in most people's criteria. So, once this rain event gets through, the scrubs and the scrapes, the rakes, that's big news in Washington, D.C. now. Anyhow, the scrapes and the rubs will really take off in this soft dirt, because the bucks are going to have to get out and start marking their territories. But that's not a loss on a rainy day. I want to show you this book right here. This is a fantastic book. And to be a bow hunter, you got to be more than just a killer of wildlife. You've got to be a conservationist, a conservative person. You've got to give, you've got to take, and you got to know what's around you. Now, in the last video I had an astute gentleman, Gary Hutchison, talk about ironwood trees. Well, to tell you the truth, that was new to me. I never heard of an ironwood tree. You know, most of them are hickory, Osage orange, oak, walnut, and sycamore. We have some of those, and then you have your cedar trees, which is quite common down here in southern Iowa. But I did some research on the ironwood tree, and it's all right there in front of you. And the nice thing about it is, down here at the bottom, it says that this tree creates a lot of natural forage for quail, pheasants, turkey, deer, numerous wildlife animals live on that ironwood tree. And so it's really self-educating and I know you can go on your smartphones and your Ask Google stuff But living off the grid or being down here off the grid in that sense, this is just a nice day to sit in here and educate yourself. And I'd like to insert one more thing out of the respect for the late Roger Rothauer. He wrote many, many books about the white-tailed deer and the scrape. He also stated that the modern bow hunter in his time, a good number of them don't even know what kind of tree they got their stand in. And I find that real common. When I score a deer, I ask the people what direction the wind was blowing, what was the temperature, how much is your arrow weight, how much, on and on. It's questions and answers on the fair chase affidavit. And you know what? Sadly, but truly, I have to go back into my records, and I keep daily records, and try to see if it was an overcast day and what the temperature was, and on and on and on. And if they have an arrow with them, most of them don't even know the grain weight of the arrow and broadhead combination. It's sad. But like I said, get out there and enjoy the woods, but just don't be a trespasser in the wilderness. Know what you're walking among. Like I said, some people can't see the forest for the trees. And so that's a wrap for non-typical Norwalkian rant on a wet Tuesday afternoon.